Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to the Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. Episode 60, You're Not Alone, a message from Team Invisible. And a little bit about how I got to where I can even give you a message from Team Invisible. Side note, we're past 4,000 downloads, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who has listened to more than 5 minutes of an episode and listened to maybe a whole episode and returned for more. I appreciate you deeply so much. When I get messages from you that a podcast has done something for your world, I can't even tell you how much that just thrills me. I love it. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so Team Invisible is what I call, it's just my collective term for everything I can't see. Guides, power animals, God, and then the damn dead people. What is it with the dead people? They are so noisy, and I've been resisting that for a long time. So I'm going to wander around a little bit here, and I'm going to tell you that my theory of why this morning's message. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to dive in because I'll get lost and forget what I'm doing. So, are you ready for a meandering tangential journey? Here we go. So, this morning, I'm taking two classes right now. One is Receiving School with Patty Lennon, Lennon. The other is Getting Clients Simply and Soulfully from Steph Lagana, Lagana. I would recommend you follow both of them, of course, with all the other people I recommend because they're all amaze balls. Anyway, I sat down this morning to write my intention for Receiving School. When I was writing it, part of it was I want to be more comfortable and less hypocritical about receiving information. When I'm in a client session and one of their loved ones who is beyond the veil shows up, I'm always like, oh, damn it. Okay. But I always deliver the information because that is always my intention before every session is whatever information comes through. Oh, I ran out of air. All of a sudden, I forgot to breathe. Note to self, breathe regularly, in and out, in and out. Okay, well, so when it shows up in a client session, I deliver whatever information comes through. I don't care where it's coming from. I don't question it. I'm a pure channel in a session with someone. So periodically, dead folk will show up and they'll have a message, and I deliver it, and it has a great impact on my client. Huge. Usually, there's a lot of tears, a lot of emotional release, a lot of energy moves when one of the dead people show up. And I'm not a fan of that outside of a session. Outside of a session, I'm not even really there. Like everything's just coming through. But in my personal life, in my day to day, wash the dishes, feed the cats life, I'm not a fan of when the dead people show up and want to say something. I feel like they've all got a lot to say. Like they don't have anything better to do than walk around delivering messages. Like they need jobs. Can we give the dead people a job so they'll stop trying to talk to me? I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Don't like the word medium. Really hate the word psychic. So you can see what kind of bind that puts me in, where I'm constantly trying to straddle the world of logic and the world of lunacy. I'm just always in the middle and push pull. I'm just a mess. So, but, I've been trying to soften my stance about that. I have, Heather Westmoreland is an incredible medium, a healing medium, not a is my boyfriend cheating on me psychic and certainly not like the Long Island medium where she just runs around and delivers messages, whether it's appropriate or not. Um, so, knowing her, and she hasn't died from hearing messages from the dead people, and she's not haunted, all the illogical things that you develop when you grow up on ghost stories and you watch too many movies like Paranormal Activity or The Woman in Black. We're presented that dead people are scary as fuck. Who would want to talk to them? So, and I've been getting the message for months now, like here's the thing. We ask questions like, how come money's so hard? How come I can't figure out my business? How come I can't find whatever? And then the answers start to come and we're like, no, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear from you. Can you give it to me in a fortune cookie? Can you let me draw an oracle card? Let me draw an oracle card from 15 different decks that all have the same message rather than take 2 seconds and listen to somebody, talking inside my head or wherever it comes from. Yeah, a little illogical, wouldn't you say? Do you know what I'm talking about? Can I get an amen? Because I know we're all doing it. So when I was setting the intention, like, I don't want to be hypocritical in my energy. I don't want to be compartmentalized and segmented. One of my primary goals is to live as cohesive and whole in my energy as possible. So that means I have to stop asking questions, and when the answers show up, kicking it to the curb because I don't like the delivery guy or girl or elk, whoever shows up for the day. I can receive it from animals, but I can't receive it very well from the dead people yet. Writing the intention, and I hear in the upper right side of my brain is where I hear stuff. We were never meant to do this human life alone. Like, part of my intention is let me be more comfortable and let me have an easier time receiving the messages wherever they come from. Help me stop fighting this in my system. Help me set my need for approval aside even more and go ahead and hear the answers to my questions and other people's questions and just get over it, really. That's what I was saying. Can you just help me get over this? Because I'm exhausted from fighting it. We were never meant, so here's what I hear, word for word. You were never meant to live this human existence alone without, and then the image I got was of a massive crowd of people. So we were never meant to come into a human body and have an earthly experience and be cut off from Team Invisible. So it's like they're all standing there and they're, with our permission, when we invite them, they are there to support us and guide us because they know we're blind. When we come into a human body, we're blind. We're deaf. We're, dare I say, little on the dumb side. Such cute little dummies. We're so dumb. Like, we're deaf, dumb, and blind to some degree. And they're there because they know that. And they're there to support us and guide us and give us the answers. And by the way, there's a couple of wild dogs running on my property. Dang it. I have called animal control I don't know how many times. So what's that message about? These wild dogs. I'm going to attempt to ignore it and keep talking to you and not be distracted by the wild dogs. Wild dogs meaning dogs who've been abandoned and gather up in packs as dogs. Well, okay. So this is related because what I was about to say is when we used to be tribal, we had a person who would give us the messages from beyond, right? We had a shaman or a medicine woman, or we had a wise woman or a witchy woman. We had somebody we could go to, an oracle, a living oracle, we could go to and say, I'm fighting with my husband all the time. What do I do? Or I'm about to go to war. What do I need to know? We had someone and we trusted it, right? We were open to it. We understood that some people could hear the things and some people couldn't. But as we've moved more and more individual, which is as it should be, we are not meant to return to those kind of tribal days. We are becoming more and more individual. Read your human design. But we're intended to be our own oracle. We're intended to open the doors to have direct access to that information without an intercessory, without someone doing it for us. We're meant to hear it ourselves. And I know for me, it's gotten louder and louder and harder to ignore. So looking at like a human evolution standpoint, maybe in the beginning we had direct access and then we just gave it to one person. I don't know, but the message I'm hearing and feeling is that it is intended that we, however we can, return to receiving that information ourselves, not seeking out psychics. And I'll just pre-warn you, and I used to go to psychics all the time, and I sure do love me an oracle deck. But at some point in your development, you'll see that you'll be going to psychics and they can't, I think I've already ranted on this before, so I won't launch completely into it, but you'll find that they can't give you answers anymore. And it's not that they're broken or they're shyster or whatever. It's that you are ready to hear it yourself. You're ready to let go of the interim. It's like taking your training wheels off. Like you're ready to ride the bike of accessing information from Team Invisible by yourself. You don't have to go get it from somebody else. So if you've noticed that you can't, suddenly your oracle cards really just don't make sense, or your favorite psychic can't answer your questions anymore, the system's not broken. You're being invited to direct access. It's like direct TV from Team Invisible. Turn on your own satellite dish, point it where it needs to be. You point to your satellite dish through asking questions, and then you receive, like your television, you receive the signal that then is translated into an image, sound, something that you can understand. So, and there's an episode earlier about, do we have to receive all of life in order to receive the sweet moolah of life, the money? Yeah, we do. And I'm getting that even more. Not only do we have to be able to receive all the emotions and run them through our body and train ourselves to, titrate into that a little bit more, and understand fully that it's just energies running through our body, stimulating our nerve endings. We're not going to, spontaneously combust. We're not going to cry for the rest of our lives. We're not going to burn up the world if we feel our rage, or even if we're processing a little bit of the collective rage. So it's not only just that, receiving the energies of emotions consciously, right? We're receiving them, but we knock ourselves unconscious with the Twinkie method or the Ben and Jerry's, or pot or alcohol or too much Instagram, however you knock yourself unconscious, creating drama in your relationships. So they're always there. We're just not aware of them, or we're aware of them along a continuum of awareness and consciousness. Is this making sense? I hope. So if you're really here to master money, that means you got to master feeling. And it means you may have to master Team Invisible getting a little more noisy on you. And they've been knocking at the door for me for, man, I'm going to say like 2 or 3 years. Definitely since I got out here in the woods because there's, fewer distractions. And being basically unemployed also gives me large spans of time in which to hear them knocking and to also hear myself saying, go away, fool. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to your invisible ass. No, thank you. So I'm surrendering. Okay, jeez. All right already. That's kind of how I feel like, oh my God, okay, just shut up. Can I just have the money part without the Team Invisible part? And they're like laughing at me. Have you had that experience where you ask a question and you hear like angels laughing at you? And it's such a sweet, like, oh, no, honey, that's not how it works. You little cutie patootie. Come here. Let me sweep you up. It's such a sweet little, oh, a little laugh. It's such affection. It's like, no, that's not how it works. No, honey bunny, you can't pick and choose. You're going to have to receive all the things. Damn it. Damn it to hell. We have to laugh at ourselves, right? Or go completely insane. So anyway, you don't have to become, this is what I keep coming back to. You don't have to become the Long Island medium, all right? You can be a grounded in practicality, fully in this world, and hearing messages from Team Invisible. You don't have to be, you don't have to think of yourself as like this circus freak because you can hear stuff or see stuff or just know it or feel it in your body, whatever your method is. And if you want to experience that and it's not happening for you, you really just have to ask and you really have to make the space for it. You've got to have long periods of time where nothing is going on. You're just puttering around. Maybe you're organizing or decluttering, but you're listening. Okay. So, you know how when you are, like you're home at night and you hear something outside, but you're not sure. And so you kind of like cock your head like a dog does, you're like, "Arr?" You think you heard something, but you're not sure. But you go into that listening energy, like your body becomes like an animal where it's like on alert and you're listening. That listening opens the channel. But know that you will second guess yourself and you just have to learn to trust it. And honestly, you just have to practice. It took me a while to trust that whatever information was coming in a session, I could deliver. And I had to be willing to take the risk of delivering the message and hear that I was wrong or have the person go, yeah, that's banana pants. So no, thank you. But that's never what happens. Always, 100% of the time, I delivered the message and it does something wonderful happens. But you got to be willing to deliver the message. So for yourself, if you're asking lots of questions like, why is money so hard for me? Why is love so hard for me? Why don't I have my big, beautiful new house closer to my daughter yet? Team Invisible. What's up with that, y'all? Then you can't then stick your fingers in your ears and close your eyes and la 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 through your day and pretend that you're unloved and uncared for because you aren't getting the answers to your questions, because you are getting the answers to your questions. And taking these 2 classes has really opened my eyes to how much more that's been happening all this time, and I haven't seen it. It's happening right in front of my face, and I haven't seen it, which I have broken, let me just tell you, 3 pair of glasses in the last week. And I could not understand why am I breaking my glasses? I really can't see without them. To see how even in that, it's the repetitive thing, right? I went through a week's period of time where damn near every day I broke a glass. And that had a big package of message to it. What I'm saying to myself is, how about we just open to receiving the information when it comes, rather than being stubborn about it and having to break all the damn dishes or all my flipping glasses. Okay, first I broke my main pair. The right side earpiece thing fell off, and when it fell off, it scratched the right lens so that I can't even use it, and they're not under warranty anymore. And then I used my backup reading glasses, which I've been doing, and they don't fit, so I have to kind of hold them in place. And then I have a 5 pair from Warby Parker. They do a try on at home. I stepped on one of those try-on pair yesterday. They're not even glasses. They're just plastic frames. So I was like, what the hell? I can't even see out of those. Why are they getting broken? And now how am I going to explain that to Warby Parker? But it's like, I'm not seeing. I'm asking for questions and then refusing to see the answer. I mean, I'm asking questions for answers and refusing to receive the answer. Hypocritical much? So where are you doing that? Where are you asking questions? Team Invisible is bringing you the answers and you're dismissing it. Well, I asked a question about how come I don't have any money, and then I break all my glasses. It's like, well, see how much money you do have already. See how much abundance is already here. See the messages that are ready and willing to help you set goals, to set better goals, to say different things in your marketing, to broadcast and radiate a different quality of energy so that you're seen by the people who can best benefit from your work. What really helped me see that, like, this has all been in motion, and then Steph Lagana has a tool in her class of tracking that. I'm not sure if it's like private for the class, so I'm not going to share the details of it, but basically pay attention all day, every day. Pay attention that if your eyes land on something, if you notice it, it's probably got something for you. But remember, the language of the universe is symbolic. It's felt. It's sensation. It's not a telegram that says, the money's under the couch. It's not a telegram that says, hey, call so-and-so because they can connect you to a job. It's not like that. It's symbol. Your body communicates to you in symbols, in stomach cramps, in flashes of a headache or whatever. It's symbolic. In dreams. If you're waiting for the words, you might be waiting a long time, because I hear words and some people do, but that's not all the ways that information can come to you. If something repetitive is happening in your environment and you're not asking questions about that, or you're not asking to hear it more clearly or to see it more clearly, then you're just going to keep asking questions and feeling all abandoned by the universe. We're not. It's literally, there are crowds and crowds standing by with information for you. So the first time I had an experience of sensing crowds of Team Invisible around me was, I had been all day in meditation at the Shambhala Mountain Center in Red Feather Lakes. Red Feather, Colorado. Beautiful, 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 beautiful place. It's worth the drive and the hassle to get there. There's a stupa there, and when they were building it, I had such a treat of being able to go inside and see the relics that are there. It's just incredible place, beautiful energy. Way up behind the gigantic stupa is a Shinto shrine. Got to climb up the hill to get there. There's an underground spring that just bubbles up. This beautiful water just bubbling up out of the ground. I was there in the winters. There was snow. Went up there, stood, hung out there for a while, did some prayers, asked for some asked for some answers. And coming back down, I was up there for at least a couple of hours, and coming back down, it felt like I was walking through a crowd of people that were applauding, like they were parting in as I was walking through, they were like parting, stepping aside and making room for me to walk through, and then closing in behind me, and they were like cheering and applauding. And I was like, well, that's weird. And that was pretty much the end of it. This was a long time ago when I was not even remotely willing to let anybody know how intuitive I was. I didn't understand anything about how all this all worked. I mean, I had the intellectual information, but I was absolutely not willing to step into it. This would have been like 2005, so a long time ago. But then this morning, it's like, no, that's still there. Crowds of people, crowds of energies around us, available and willing, just standing by. They can't intercede without request. We have free will. We get to request help all the time. But then the next step of that is we have to then be willing to receive the help. So, of course, I need to be in receiving school, and I need to be in getting clients simply and soulfully, because, this just adds to all the work earlier this year that I was doing in Corey Michelle's classes. The Art of Living Crazy Possible, which was really opening a lot of doors to this, and it's just continued on. It's a process. But ask yourself, where am I resisting seeing, feeling, perceiving, knowing the answers to my questions about my marriage or my love life or my money or my work or my colleagues, whatever, all the crap that we struggle with, all the things that we're like, why? Why is this happening? Why can't I, why? Why? We're so busy saying why, and I've already told you to quit doing that, that we don't even hear the answer. So if you want this, you've got to ask for it. You've got to be willing to receive the information. You've got to notice when you're seeing things. So the example I gave my Voxer group, insert commercial here, people who are patrons on my Patreon page at the $33 level get a daily money one command from me, or information that's coming through, guided meditations, whatever. And that is patreon.com/Michelle Wolf 11. They get a lot of stuff. They get a monthly get together. They get a Force Reiki blessing healing session every month. And so there's all this stuff in there. But I was telling them this morning, Heather Russell has a Facebook group called Orion Rising Community. She's I don't know what she's calling herself, a spiritual teacher. She's on the path of ministry. It's a great group to get into it. I highly recommend it. But she posted, raptors have meaning for her. And so she saw one on a neighbor's barn, a big one. And the message was, you're not alone. Which is interesting since the message I was receiving this morning was you're not alone. And the message other people are delivering is you're not alone. It's all coming out of our mouths at the same time, just different variations of it. That's another thing you'll start to notice is trends that kind of sweep through social media where all of a sudden all the coaches, all the teachers are saying the same thing. But that, that has a meaning for her. And so what I was saying is if you land on it, if your eyes see it, recognize there's probably a reason that you're seeing it because guaranteed lots of other people didn't see that hawk. Lots of other people saw the hawk and it didn't register for them because hawks aren't a thing for them or raptors, but they are for her. Yeah. So when you see it, pay attention to it. If you're breaking all your dishes, maybe instead of beating yourself up for being clumsy, you could stop and say, okay, what is going on here? Am I ungrounded? Do I need to break some structures in my life that I'm not seeing? Is something need to be swept up and thrown away? Like, what is this? Asking all the questions will get you to the answer because you can say, oh, I saw this gigantic hawk this morning. What do birds represent? And I encourage you not to go to the internet to ask that question. I encourage you to ask it of yourself, especially if you're wanting to open the channel to your Team Invisible. The internet is fun. It's a great place to get information. It's entertaining, and I love it. I love the internet. But if you're training yourself to interpret your own information, don't immediately go to the internet and put in spiritual meaning of hawks because you'll get lots of opinions, but that might not be it for you. So if that's your path and that's what you're wanting to cultivate and develop in your system, then don't go to the internet first. Go later, but get your own information first. What do birds represent to me? When I think about hawks, what do I think about? Well, they fly. They get what they're very focused and intense. They get what they want. They get what they need. They have beautiful feathers. They're probably fluffy. I don't know. You just ask all these questions like, what do broken glasses mean? Well, what do glasses mean? Well, they help me see. What am I not seeing? What do I need to see? What have I gone blind to? What do I need to open my eyes to? Do I even need to wear glasses? Like, what is going on? Asking all the questions, all the questions, all the questions. And then take your fingies out of your ears. Take your little paws off your eyeballs and be willing to receive the answers. Okay? I got to run. I got an 11:30 appointment. Earlier, I thought it was 11, but, anyway. It's a beautiful day here. There's wild dogs running the mountains. There's beautiful seeds and leaves just falling from the sky. It is an abundant world. I am going to meditate and ask why these dogs are still an issue for me. They are a little bit scary. They're also pretty primal, so that might be part of this. What is your Team Invisible trying to tell you? Start to listen. I want to not be alone in this wacky, weird life, having to stumble my way through stuff. If I have to wake up, you have to wake up too. Damn it. All right, Hearth and Home starts this Friday, and it is 40 days of fabulousness. It's so fun. It's light. It's a place to dip and dive into a Facebook group, get a boost, feel happy, feel secure, vent about hating your family, whatever. Just go to thatmichellewolf.com/hearth, HEARTH. Please join us for that. I know I'm like nagging everybody about it, but it's so much fun and it's only $111 and you seriously won't regret it. Almost 100% of everyone who's done it in the prior years is back this year. People look forward to it. I look forward to it. Starts November 22nd. Don't wait. thatmichellewolf.com/hearth. Think less, feel more. I will talk to you later.